Okay, everybody, welcome to another session. Um, for this tutorial, we're just going to cover retopology techniques. I'm going to go over a few different kinds. I'll end on the one that I use the most in Maya, QuadDraw. Past students will have seen this before. I'm going to go over it anyways. So retopology is just basically taking your raw sculpt mesh. As you can see, if I turn polyframes on, this is just this real dense, crappy mesh. So basically what we need to do is make this into nice, clean geometry that you can render and texture, which you couldn't really do with this. This is just a generic subtool that I found in Zbrush just for demonstration purposes. So the first method we're going to go over is using the Topology Brush in Zbrush here, which is Topology. Just type TO, get the brush. I'm working in symmetry mode right now, so you can see that it's on both sides. This is a symmetrical model. So basically how the Topology Brush works is it's based on curves. So you'll just draw out a curve and draw out another curve, and then wherever these lines cross, these cross division lines, you'll see it actually makes a mesh here. You can move these curves around, you can keep adding to them, but that's just really the basics of it. Very simple. See why these polys aren't exposed. Must be something to do with this subdivision. This into a poly mesh. There we go. Let's try this again. There we go. So it just wasn't a poly mesh yet. So to show you again, so we have this join here, so I'll draw a curve along here, here. The point of this is to make geometry that flows well and is also not super high res, so you can use it in a game. So wherever these lines cross, you're going to get quads. See here. And to get rid of these extra lines outside, you just hold the Alt key down and then drag, and it'll trim these lines off, and then you'll get a patch like that. I'll do it again over here. Down this row. Follow this curve down here. Run one down this middle. Start crossing. Here's your mesh. And to get rid of the curves, all you have to do is just click outside of the mesh, and you'll see that it's made this nice mesh with crease weights, thickness as well. And to view this, you just you can see this is masked off. So if you want this split out, you'll just go to split on mask points, and there's your new geometry. Pretty simple. It's a little bit hard to control in the beginning, but this seems to be a method that a lot of students like because it's all curve based, and it's pretty quick, as you can see. Pretty easy to make geometry. This is really cool for If you want to extract pieces out, sculpt, like say this piece here, say I want to extract this, turn on symmetry mode, take this piece here, turn on symmetry mode on. Maybe it doesn't work with symmetry mode. So we'll just do one side of this. So if I was going to extract this, I'd run a curve down the middle, down the side. You can see the curve sticks to the geometry really well. And run. That's this way. And there's your geo. So it's really fast, really easy to use. Another method, which is a method you guys can use, especially since you're doing environments, so there's not a lot of deforming geometry, and this is the fastest method, but it's not as accurate, is Zremesher. This has got a lot of options. I'm not going to go over every single little one. You can Google Zremesher and you'll come up with a lot of things. But the major stuff that I want to hit on is your target polygon count, which when you adjust this, it will lower and raise how many polygons you get. It'll also determine how tight to the surface topology, the existing surface topology, how close it stays to it. So I'll just hit Zremesher on this real quick, see what we get. So it does a really good job. And if I was doing this model in production, I would probably just delete half of it and then Zremesh it. Go like this. Duplicate it and mirror it. But you can see the topology just from one click. It's pretty good. If you want specific edge loops, and usually with environment models you don't have to deal with this, but say you were doing a head or something, you can use the guide brush, which is your brush palette under just G. Try to Zremesher guides. So this works just like quad tool, but basically I want a loop to run this way and this way. Zremesher will use these guides to kind of restrict how the geometry goes. And you have this curve strength here, which if you up that, it'll try to stick to these curves as much as possible. At Zremesher again, and you can see how this works. And it's pretty quick. Like now you can see that these curves, these edge loops are following the guide curves. So I would say maybe 80-85% of the time Zremesher for environment models will get you there. But if you want a lot of control over your topology, which sometimes you'll have to have it, I would use Maya, and we're going to export this out. Show you how to use this with Maya. a second to import here. So this can happen sometimes on your exports where you get all these part numbers. If that ever happens to you, all you've got to do under export, just turn off these merge UV chords and groups. Well, you can leave that on, but just turn groups off and we'll export it again. Export it. Now we've got just this one piece. Viewport 2.0 is really slow for some reason. So now you can see we've just got one piece of geometry, whereas the other object, it was broken into all these different pieces. And what that's doing is it's breaking up the polygroups. So for every polygroup, it's going to export a piece, which you don't want. Typically you don't. But if you ever want to break up your model with polygroups and import them as separate objects, that's how you do it. Let's see here. Give this a second to delete. This is running so slow. Recording. There we go. So here's our object. Show the grid. Back to its center. Here. So as you can see, this model is extremely high poly. Right now we're looking at almost 100,000 faces. So this is the method that I typically use in production. So under Mesh Tools in Maya, you have this Show Modeling Toolkit. You'll bring that up. And the tool you want to use is QuadDraw. So with QuadDraw, this is what we're going to get. You're going to get this kind of black meshing first. So what you want to do is turn your surface live. So this little magnet up here with your object selected. So now it's live, so I can't actually do anything to this model. And then I'm going to hit QuadDraw. So what QuadDraw does is allow you to lay points out by just left clicking. And then you make polygons by holding Shift. It's as easy as that. So this is a really great way to do retopology and get really clean meshes. And I'll just go ahead and show a few things you can do here. So if you want to insert edge loops, just hold down the Control key and you can insert edge loops, which is really nice. If you want to relax an area, just hold down the Shift key. To move points, you just select a point and move it. To move an edge, just click it and move it. If you want to extend an entire edge loop here, hold down Tab and middle click, drag, get this. As you can see, this is super fast to do topology. So I'll just go down through here and do some edges. This is also a really great way to learn about topology if you've never really dealt with it that much. It'll help you learn about how edge flows work. So like you can see here, I've got an edge that needs to extend, so I'll just hold down Control and click. It's easy as that. So you can see these edges are bunching together, so I'll just relax them. The point of having good topology is to basically have nice square polygons that are easy to UV and easy to subdivide. There's lots of information online about topology. If you guys have specific questions about it, you can ask me. It's a topic that a lot of people talk about, not many people know about. So investigate it, or you can ask me about more specific questions if you've got them. This is just kind of a basic overview of how to do this. So we've got this one edge here that we want to extend down, so hold down Tab, middle click. There you go. And then I would relax this and get the edges spread back out. Let's turn this off. So you can see you probably want to follow this edge back, terminate it up here. So I'll go here, here, here. We've got a lot of edges coming into this, so I'll just click and drag to combine them. And I would probably follow this up this way. There you go. Then you've got this edge sweeping back. So I would probably just extend this. Add this here. Just extend this back. And edge here. Follow this join. Say back to here. And pull this down, add an edge loop. Follow it down this way, trying to match in line with these edges. So I can loop here. Go ahead and extend this way. And you're going to see that these polygons are getting a bit too stretched, so just throw an edge loop down there. That. Maybe these as well. And just relax this area. And even back out. To delete a point or an edge, you just hold Control and Shift. If you want to delete a face or an edge, just Control and Shift. Sometimes you'll run into points where you're like, well, I don't need that edge. Let's see. Let's follow this edge back around. Let's see what. This is getting a bit stretched out here. So let's move these up. This way. here. Here. Relax these a bit. Straighten this edge out. And come across here. Relax. I'm going to have this edge come around to there. You see we've got another join here. So how I would approach this is I would first outline this bottom area. Say we'll join it to here. So we'll do a join. That's not going to work. So what I would do here is maybe delete these off. And sometimes you'll have to just kind of figure this stuff out as you go. So I'll block out a main area first and then worry about how it's going to get tied back into the rest of the geo. And with this method, it's really fluid, so a lot of times you won't see the solution until it just happens. You won't even have to plan it out. Let's see here. Quad down here, here, here. I'm gonna go back and tie these in. I'm gonna run an edge down that. It's gonna be a containing border edge. And I'm gonna go across these guys. Down a little bit. Continue this. And I want this edge loop to keep going. Keep it going across here. And one of the things you have to be careful with is you can see there's a defined edge here. So you want a clean edge following that. So if you need to add resolution to tighten that edge up, you have it. This is one of the things that we do with Retopology. So I've got this nice edge going here. Then you can see that that edge follows down and kind of smooths out. So we'll just these guys together. Smooth this out. Terminate that loop there. And to join these back up, let's go here. Yes. Else. Here. See, we've got an extra edge, so I'll just run this loop here. Here. There. Extra edge here. 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 And I'll just relax this area because it's getting kind of tight in there. One of the great things with using this live object like that is that your geometry is always going to stick where it should be. That's one of the things with the Topology Brush in Maya or in Zbrush that doesn't work so hot. Sometimes you can get quads that just go off into space. So smooth all this out. Show you what this mesh looks like. So now it looks nice, clean. Subdivide it. That's how you do it. So you can see you've got edge loops that flow really nice. Define these edges out, and this will be really easy to UV and to subdivide and do normal maps on. So that's it. That was just a quick overview of Retopology. If anybody has any specific questions or examples that they'd like to see done, just email me, let me know. We aren't going to do a speed tree demo this weekend because I don't feel that you guys are at a point with your models to start dealing with foliage yet. So we're going to hold off on that until we get some more progress done on your models. So email me questions, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you.